get into the new episodes of Orange County from season 18. We're gonna quickly cover the episodes from the past 2 weeks, since I've been out of town, and now we're reconvening. So special shout outs to Charlotte Bannigan White and Julie Capilli, our YouTube watchers. Thank you for watching.
Yay!
Okay. Yeah. Episode 10, Catwalks and Catfights. So it feels like we've reached a point in the series where like both producers and like the housewives are like, okay, we've got to cool it on this like Shannon stuff or she might blow her brains out, you know?
Yeah, because like it's never been a good season for Shannon. Like this is actually the best season for Shannon, and it's really bad.
Yeah.
Emotionally.
Yeah. And yeah, she's just, she's been through the ringer for our pleasure, and I think that, wives, everyone's like, okay, let's
be nice
down Alexis. Also, Alexis, you're going to blow ever having a spot on the cast again if you keep being such a witch. Like you're gonna alienate everyone. Yeah. And she's like, okay, she's kind of
okay, fine, I'll talk about my trans kid.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that. Which again, cool. She's come a long way.
She has. Yeah, she really has. Because we've been recapping the old seasons, and like one of the seasons we just recapped, she talked about like she would never even want a woman president. So it's like she's really come a long way with like accepting her son, her trans son, and I actually am. I wish that we could see this more from Alexis. Yeah. Like I like the muck and the dirt, but I do. It is nice to kind of see how she's evolved in some ways and completely devolved in others.
Yeah, like I'd like to. I'm kind of her just talking about it is boring to me, and I understand her wanting to keep her kids off camera. I want her like officiating a gay wedding, like she does now. Like that would be cool.
Yeah,
she's friend of, so I don't know if she'll get any of those solo scenes. I think that's why we're getting it all in confessional. But we're proud. It's nice to see a softer side of Sears.
Mm-hmm.
So then Heather they get back from their retreat to move forward, and Heather has a fashion show for her line of like TJ Maxx business casual receptionist outfits, and it's like a collaboration with
SB. Not
SB.
Shannon Bedore.
No, different SB. It's like Susan
B. Komen?
Susan B. Komen, right. No.
Susan B. Komen.
Susan Bender. So they, have just like, I actually would buy like almost everything from this line. I've got to say, as long as it was like TJ Maxx prices, like
your mom would buy it.
Yeah, it's all like most of my like office clothes are my mom's hand-me-down office clothes.
No, I'm saying that she would buy it for you. She'd be like, Lord, you need a wardrobe.
I found the best, cute little LBD. She doesn't know the terminology LBD. She's not a fashion girl. She like a nice like black plain dress with a belt built in, a nice slack. I mean, I'm all slacks. Nothing. I know,
you're all slacks. Nothing but slacks.
Cut me some slacks. Prop comedy. Anyway, so it's cute. I always love like a fashion show on the Housewives, and I always love that Heather is just such a shameless self-promoter, and she gets away with it so much more. Like a production lets it slide so much more with her than I feel like any of the other girlies. It's that Bedore money. I got kind of confused on that. That's like most of the first episode, right? Like, and then it's the second episode with the after party.
Yeah, the after party. Am I blurry to you? Because you're so blurry to me.
No, but I think it's just because I'm moving, and it usually fixes it in post. I look clear to me. I need
like
to
it's very pixelated.
You pixelate for me from time to time, but again, it always cleans up in the edit. Okay, so
it always fixes, but it hasn't fixed on my end, so it's okay. Sorry.
Okay. No problem. There's just like a lot of boring parenting stuff this episode. Like
it's
Tamra
boring, and they're in Napa.
And... Yeah, they've got kids that are both abandoned by their dads or something. But then like Tamra's kid wasn't, which is confusing. And then Jen.
Yeah, they're like our kids are friends, but they're not really.
No, they just have them meet on camera to talk about how great their moms are.
And they're like, oh yeah, we're really good friends. But then they're like, we've never met.
Yeah. And then Jen talks to her like rebellious adolescent son who's like,
oh yeah, that was the thing. He wants to move back in with his dad.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to. Yeah, Ryan's too tough. Like Ryan and Jen, their parenting style is too strict. And I'm like, what the hell's going over at Dad's house?
Yeah.
This guy's like a criminal, and your mom's never like
Yeah, she's
had a
shooting
credit card. Like, what's happening?
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Garcelle's plot from Beverly Hills last year, which I feel like is never a good thing when you're reminding me of Beverly Hills.
I like Garcelle.
I like Garcelle, but her solo stories, I mean, any solo story on Beverly Hills, hasn't been good for years. So then, yada, 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 Alexis and Heather go to the GLAAD Awards.
Okay, this was good. Okay, we need to talk about the GLAAD Awards because I liked how, like, Terry was talking to Heather and they couldn't show on camera all of the celebrities that were there. And Terry was, like, making sure to get on camera, like, casually talking to Heather about, like, all the famous people he just saw. He's like, Tom Hanks! Can you believe we're sitting right next to these people?
Terry
and
once
like,
again,
oh, we're just doing this for our children.
Yeah, Terry once again taking the bullet for the paparazzi calling rumor where Heather's like, I'm not the one into any of it. It's Terry. He's the star fucker.
But I do like that Terry's like, I love this.
I know. It's sometimes he's like self-deprecating and doesn't take himself too seriously.
He's so
good. Which I think is
he's a great house husband.
He's a great house husband because Heather can be like a little too serious.
And he doesn't pretend to not like it. He's very open about very much liking the fame and the TV and all of the things.
He knows exactly who he is, and he's like
he doesn't pretend.
A star fucker nerd. Yeah. No pretense there. Although they are pretentious. And then and then we've got Shannon and Vicky heading to St. Louis for their
they're doing improvs on Wednesday nights across the country. And it's like they're there was like the one thing they showed was like she gets like a shot of tequila on stage or something.
Yeah, it's like if anything, it's like making the where I'm like, okay, I guess I see.
I'm swiping left on that scene
a little more. If the show is just Shannon taking shots on stage, then I could see why she's like, this is maybe not a good look for me to be in part of it. But and then Tamra. Well, quick news about Tamra today. That even though it seems like she's kind of turning her performance around this season, rather like just not aiming as hard, like guns a-blazing.
Shannon's not right in the crosshairs.
Yes, it's just kind of back to the. It is like disappointing that she's saying that it's like bots saying like who are going against her because it's like, girly, all the comments on the one TikTok I posted about you. Bots. Those are real people who
don't like you,
want to have you killed. Like, which as always, like everyone chill out. But
it is a little extreme.
It's always too much with the fans. But like, it makes me sad that like you're Tamra. You should not care about being hated. This is like what did Lisa Rinna in was like being so hated and then being like, but it's not my fault, and like you guys all don't understand, and being like way too defensive about it. And even though Andy always loved Rinna like he loves Tamra, he still couldn't save her when she got that deep end. I don't know, Michelle.
I have a feel. I don't think Andy ever liked Lisa. He didn't want her on the show for years. He was the reason she wasn't on the show. Yeah,
but then he seems to love her. Like
I think he did eventually. Yeah. Like when she was on the show, but she campaigned for a long time to be on that show, and he would always say no. I don't want to see you on TV. He didn't want to see people who were already famous on the show.
Yeah, it makes sense, especially with like what Lauren Zalaznik was telling us about like they wanted authenticity. They didn't want anyone, with an acting background or anything like that. But I do think that he's so fond of Rinna, and Kyle. I think, that production really liked them too. I think that like Rinna Kyle was probably really great to work with. Yeah. So I'm just saying it'll be interesting. There's still a lot of season to play out, but it'll be interesting to see where Tamra is standing with Bravo by the end of the season.
We just need to get to the one good part of the last episode.
Okay.
Which is like the best thing this is the best thing that's happened ever. For this person.
It solidified Alexis's orange for next year, I think. She finally showed she didn't come here to play or even just to torture Shannon. She came here to win. So at Heather's after party for her fashion show, Emily confronts Heather about how she felt at the fashion show because Heather made Emily bring a pair of jeans to change into for the end because I guess like she didn't have them in her size.
Yeah. And okay, she was like, no, Heather was trying to explain it was like never her intention to make her, she's like, no one else had to bring jeans and blah, blah, blah. And everyone else
well,
had
that's
clothes.
because everyone wore different pieces.
But then I didn't like in Heather's confessional at all that she said, look, and like, Emily was saying that it was too big, but actually I think the dress she wore was a little tight.
That
it
was
like
ugly.
The grossest thing. Yeah. And that they didn't cut it. I hated it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I do like Heather Dubrow fucking up sometimes. And
that was a big fuck up. I hated it.
That was a big fuck up. And it's like, she is like fucking weird about food in her body. Like she's fucking weird about it.
Yeah.
Much like Rinna, of
Me?
whom we spoke before. Oh yeah, and us. But like, they'd always leave that shit in with Rinna too, where it's like, so I'm always glad to see it because I'm always glad to see like any kind of dysfunctional
the mask slip.
Yeah, and also anything pointed out as like a dysfunctional relationship with food or body is like, as someone who used to have an eating disorder, I love that kind of content. And then I felt so much for Emily. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
I've been like in dance class as a kid where
I've been the biggest person. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been the biggest person and nothing fit. God, but she's like lost so much weight and she's always talked about I didn't like any of it. I hate body talk like that.
I like specifically in dance class like was the only one of two girls where we had to be the adult size because we were too big for like the kid size and we had to try it on in front of everyone too. And I'm
my God.
wow. I'm like, I can see why is emotional and upset about this. Like, it's not just her being like hyper focused on her body and being enough. It's like it's like kind of humiliating, It's
humiliating, and she's just lost so much weight and has been really open about that journey and like how proud she was and how confident she's been since she's lost that weight, which I never even thought she needed to. She's always looked amazing
she's
to
always
me. Honestly,
gorgeous.
she's like gorgeous.
Yeah. And then Alexis also wore the same dress. Which
oh my God,
fucked up with Heather too, where it was like they were wearing the same dress, they're the same height. Like Alexis's is a size 2, and Emily's is a size
not
10.
Yeah.
It's like if the woman is making them, then like why even sew in the fucking labels? Like
Put
why
on a
have them
label.
both wear the same dress? It's just all Heather's like, it's not my fault. I'm not the one who stitched the clothes. She's so defensive, and I'm like, girl,
this is like a little. It's a little like you've been doing this a little too long for this to seem like a coincidence. But yeah, so like to Emily's point, she was like, yeah, I felt uncomfortable, and then I have to see like Alexis in a size 2 wearing the same dress and like just see it in my face, and that made me feel bad. And I was like, yeah, I completely know that feeling where it's like this doesn't look the same on me as it does on this person, and it looks better on this person in her head, and then Alexis makes it all about her.
Yes, and like Heather, like from the beginning, like she,
and you're bringing me and you're wrapping me into this, and it's like,
yeah, everyone's like, what the, in typical Alexis fashion, she was like people are explaining, they're like, she's saying like that Alexis looked great in the dress, but for some reason Alexis heard like Alexis looked like shit in the dress. Somehow that's what went through her head. And so she's just...
Yeah, and she's like, you're bringing me into this?
Yeah, you think I look
you're
bad?
trying
Why
to be
mean
to me because I'm skinny?
Yeah.
Because I'm a size 2? And that makes you, like, that... What does me being a size 2 have to be with, like... What's that have to do with anything? Emily's like, it doesn't have anything to do with you, dumbass.
And she like spirals. She has to go to the backyard. And Heather, like, she like that. What really pisses me off is that Emily just wants to be heard. And Heather at the beginning, she's like, well, I'm sorry about that. But, and then Emily's
she's
like, well, I'm trying to tell you how I feel. And Heather's like, why do you keep coming at me? It's like, girl, she is not coming at you. This isn't an attack. This isn't anything planned. Like, this is like, I mean, probably
a real emotion.
But it's a real thing that she's bringing to the camera. And like, you are not so above reproach that no one can bring up any negative feelings they have around you on camera. But luckily, Alexis really swoops in and takes the bullet for Heather on this one. She's outside having a panic attack. She's like, I'm a broken bird. I'm at my lowest point. She's even like copying Shannon's lines.
Yeah.
I'm just a broken bird.
You will all see the truth.
And apparently we find out that Alexis had just broken up with her fiance of 3 years, and her mom had died right before she started dating John.
God.
I mean, again, another strike for this guy in the finding vulnerable women category, because he swooped in right after Shannon's divorce.
God, he sucks. But yeah, Emily telling Alexis, like, this isn't about you, you fucking idiot. You're just a friend.
Yes, you're a friend
Why don't you go fuck John Jansen some more, dumbass?
Yes. It's so good.
Oh my God. And I love that they kept that on camera. Like, you're just a friend of.
I know. I'm so glad that they are leaving in this meta stuff now. I'm like, how many like meta details like that did they leave on the cutting room floor because they thought like, or not authenticity, but that they thought that like leaning into the reality plays better and not addressing the show. No. We want to see Emily feel like you're a friend.
Yeah, feeling superior. Off. Yeah, you're just a friend.
I love it.
Go fuck John Jansen some more. You're just a friend.
So good. But I do think that next season, Alexis will not be a friend after this scene. She showed she can be just as irrational with everyone. She made a lifetime friend of Heather Dubrow in these past 2 episodes. She's Heather said on Watch What Happens Live, she's the most loyal to Emily of any of them. I mean, not to Emily. She's the most loyal to Alexis of any of them. Yeah.
But then Alexis put on her Instagram like this week about how mad she is at the editing and how mad she is at Bravo because of like, you know, there's other things that she talked about, not just like fucking John Jansen all of the time, but that's all they kept. It's like, what are you doing? And then she had that really weird, she was on Watch What Happens Live with John Jansen, and it was very strange.
Yeah. I mean,
she kept looking at him for like, gross. Can I say this stuff? Like, it's weird. Like, he's like giving like Jonestown. He's so creepy. Yeah, he's giving me Jim Jones. He's just like a cult leader.
Like pull on these women
it's weird.
Creepy. I just hope
he's so awful looking.
Yeah, I don't think he's that awful. Yeah.
Okay, well, I put that picture on our Instagram that he looked like Butthead from Beavis and Butthead.
He does look like a little bit Lizard Man and a little bit Butthead, but
and a little bit like Herman Munster.
Yeah, I see all of it, but like he's no like Jumbolino. I mean, he's a step up for Alexis.
I don't know. Okay, so I was looking at her with her ex-fiance. He was like younger. He was like super hot. I don't know what happened. Yeah. Wow, Bethany. Wow.
Wow, Bethany. Wow. Well, I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for Tamra. I'm hoping these girls can pull it out.
You want them to have oranges.
Yeah. Hell of a season so far. Last 2 episodes, C. 75.
Yeah, I didn't love them. But I did, episode C, Emily, I think this is one of her best episodes ever, actually.
I agree.
Because she was so vulnerable and it was so raw and real. But then also she was really funny by like telling Alexis, like, look, bitch, like, I'm main cast.
Yes. And like, I didn't even invite you into this fight. Like you're like...
No, I was just like you have nothing to do with like the way that I feel about myself.
Yeah. But
you're just walking around in a dress.
What is great about Alexis and why I want her back? Well, first of all, that she was wearing that crazy orange and white striped dress and she was really tall and her hair is all like wild and like curly like a mane, but like pulled back. And Emily's like, all I can see is just like this giraffe like coming at me.
Yeah.
That was so good. And then also that like Alexis wasn't trying to get into the middle of it to earn her orange. She literally, her Alexis brain.
She's just her brain. Her Alexis brain, where she's like, if someone's saying my name, they're probably being mean.
Yeah.
And which is valid, but But
this genuinely had nothing
to do with it. Yeah. It could have been anybody. It was just like a thinner person.
Yeah. You know how I love my Daffy broads. I love, I know that the fandom's really divided
Daffy Duck.
Daffy Dupes, like Daffy Doofy, Goofus, like
Goofus.
Can't follow along with what's happening, girlies on the Housewives, but I just
Alexis has tried